Idris. They do play a lot of Cruel, if it makes sense on the B side especially, so that could be coming out. Evo is really good on Lyra and Kath. You know, I don't know what he prefers out of those two, but those are kind of the two heroes he plays. But he also has a really solid Grace as well, so the draft could go a lot of different directions here, but those are the big picks for Rogue.
Yeah, and then when you look at TSM's draft, it becomes very difficult to predict. I mean, last time we tried to predict a TSM draft, they invented Captain Koshka. So that kind of sets the seed of how difficult predicting TSM is. And that's going to be difficult going into a draft like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult once you get into the middle stages of the draft. The beginning of the draft against TSM is extremely easy. Ban Baron. That's step
you say
one.
That. Not many people manage that one for some reason.
I don't know how. Even TSM themselves don't know why it is getting let through against them. But if you're the side of Rogue, you have to either pick or ban this Baron on the A side. They're going to ban the Idris. This is almost certainly them trying to get the Baron pick off of TSM.
TSM have the option to ban away the Baron here. I do just want to quickly bring attention to the fact that even though I've just been talking about Pon being kind of a linchpin for Rogue, he's actually not going to be able to play today. He has been subbed out for Stormy Cross. So
interesting.
We'll see how that is going to affect this roster, whether that is a significant deal for them. I mean, they're already going up against TSM, so I feel like their work is cut out for them.
Yeah, and we saw when Sibs was their sub and he stepped in for Pon the Original, it was still a very strong team. They were still able to win their matchups because Sibs had the synergy with Hammy and Evol already. Stormy Cross, there's a lot more question marks around. We haven't seen Stormy Cross in competitive play, but they are going to get that Baron taken. And with the Idris already banned away, this is a good start for Rogue.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, the Baron going through, in a lot of scenarios, it feels like the Baron is so powerful that you already give an advantage to that team. But going up against TSM, you have to feel like they have something planned if they're allowing that through.
Yeah, I think against the Baron, they'll probably opt for like a Black Feather, Glaive, along with potentially Lance. But they do want to pick a melee that can get onto them. But they are going to pick Lyra is good into Baron, but Rogue does play Cruel, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, and with the Baron pick up there, TSM has allowed this through multiple times. They're one of the only teams that has not banned Baron in a single game this season. They have always let it through if they have the option to, so they clearly have something in mind that they feel they can deal with a Baron.
Yeah, and much to Best Chuck's NA, it's usually him that ends up having to pick it up. And he's been vocal on Twitter about how he doesn't actually want to play it anymore. The Crawl, as you mentioned, though, has been banned away from Rogue, so not going to be able to go on to comfort picks like that, and not going to be able to tie that up alongside the Baron.
Oh, the Glaive is taken away there. So very smart draft and bans by Rogue. I think they're doing this because TSM and Rogue scrim each other, so they know their draft preferences. And I think here Vox will probably be picked up by TSM, and then they can lock Koshka. So Rogue would need to take Koshka and potentially like Baptiste. So I think Baptiste, Koshka. Oh, Baptiste Kath is open actually. So Rogue can take Baptiste Kath, and that's a solid combination from Rogue here. Wow, it's gonna be tough for TSM.
Yeah, once again we see the Silence and the Fear combo right there for Rogue, alongside a Baron, arguably the best damage dealer in the game right now. And now for TSM, for the first time I feel like I'm questioning what is a great pick for them right now going into this composition. Once again, it feels so difficult to go into this.
It is so difficult to go into this. I would expect maybe something like a Black Feather, something that has that reflex block kind of built into his kit, just so you can try and dodge or avoid just one more of those abilities.
Yeah, we'll see if that's going to work out. So, is this now an example of, like, is TSM going to show us, like, the way to go against this kind of Silence composition? Do we feel like the Silence composition is too strong and Rogue has a significant chance now that they have the Baptiste and the Catherine in a composition? Do we feel like that is significant enough for this to be a very close game now?
Compositionally, Rogue has the advantage here. Like, if you take away the team names, I would say that the Rogue draft should win this matchup, but it's just so difficult to say that Rogue is going to have an advantage against TSM because it's TSM. Like, because they are just so mechanically gifted, so much synergy, so much cohesion on that team. This is definitely the best chance Rogue will have. This is probably the best draft they could have asked for against Team Solomid.
All right, so if you're TSM, like, you are this best team, this team that everybody talks about, what is it that you have to do to beat this composition?
Take 3 turns before Baron gets tier 3 items. So you need to take 3 turns before Baron gets even 3 tier 3 items. And they have an early game competition. They're much stronger early game. Lyra and Blackfeather is better than Kath and Baptiste. So
Okay.
TSM's going to invade a lot, and they're going to snowball them.
So super aggression. We've seen that a lot from TSM in the past. FlashX especially, very aggressive captain in the early game. It's time to get on into this one. Let us know who you're supporting. You're a TSM fan or you're a fan of the newly VG8 Rogue team. We'll find out on Twitter with the hashtag Vainglory8. But it's time to jump on into this game and into this final series of the day as we pass it to our wonderful casters.
Thanks, guys. Once again, final series. Here we are at Scoundrel. TSM versus Rogue. And you heard him on the desk. You need to get 3 turrets at least before Hammy gets 3 items. And we'll see if they can do just that.
Yeah, a super intelligent draft from Rogue, you feel. And it's resulted in a very strong composition. You know, there's several ways that you build a Baron composition. TSM have been very good at using the early game aggression from Von C to provide a distraction for the Baron. You know, then Baron goes untouched in the mid game, gets scaled up really nicely to the late game, and then he carries by himself. This one is just straight up disruption in team fights. Can't touch a Baron when you're feared, silenced, and all that kind of jazz. So it's just a different way of approaching a Baron composition as Bestchuck looks to get some early aggression onto Hammy here. TSM, Flash has got Lyra, so it's one of his, more preferred heroes. He can look to be aggressive with that, and I do think they need to be aggressive here. They need to be pushing the barriers early on. They need to be getting some pressure onto Baptiste. Von C needs to be aggressive, and exactly as the analyst said, try and push these turrets before Baron can scale up super hard. Because if it gets to the point where Baron scales up really hard, I think that TSM just straight up lose. I think this is one of the games you look at and say TSM might have in some ways got outdrafted here.
Not like TSM to get outdrafted. Normally they're the ones pulling out the crazy picks or just drafting like demons. We've seen the Koshka captain for them, but it's nothing too strange we're seeing at the moment. Von C is going to get caught in this ordained. He's going to get stunned up as well. The heal comes through from FlashX. Could this be first blood? Von C using that potion. Can Rogue find the ground? I don't think they can. Von C almost got caught out there, but he is spared.
He is spared, and he will go back, and Rogue don't punish by going to his backs, because they didn't get any kills, so they don't feel like it was potentially impossible to go and punish Von C too hard. So Von C's going to get a good rotation on his back camps here. FlashX doing a really good job of body blocking those bad mojos, giving Von C the opportunity to escape. But right now, TSM lacking in potentially some of the early game aggression that they would have wanted. They've kind of let Stormycross get away with some of the early game here. Again, ordained before level 6 is going to be an issue for Blackfeather, and that's something that Von C will always have to respect. Rogue just buying time, and the more time that Rogue get, the better this is for them.
Absolutely. Evo's not getting any time in the lead, neither's Hammy at the moment. That punishment from FlashX, even throwing the sigil under the turret, Scoundrel. It's the most frustrating thing when you're a laner right there, getting a sigil to the face. But Hammy still crouching underneath his turret, although Von C's been caught out again. Hang on a second here, does use those boots to get away. Will they be able to follow with this with any meaningful damage? I don't think so. Hammy's going to get jumped on underneath the turret, though. Von C finds the first blood. There we go, after getting jumped on earlier. However, he is away from his team at the moment. There's going to be a double stun lands onto Bestchuck. He might just go down here to Stormzy. Almost falling. FlashX using that potion just to stay alive. Stormycross does end up finding a kill in return, however.
Yeah, unfortunately, Von C going for that kill. Excellent move by him to punish Hammy under the turret, who was low, good executing potential. But by Von C going for that, split himself up from the team, and the double stun, like he said, was just so strong. Bestchuck's actually going to rotate here. They're going to get one back camp, but TSM I don't think can do much more about it. So FlashX makes his way around, so maybe they can.
I don't know, maybe they can. They got a lot of gap closing potential. And you could see Evo just gave up his own life there, just redirecting all the members of TSM away from Stormycross. However, that kill does go over to FlashX, so it's not the biggest loss in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. FlashX picking up a kill. He'll get him towards Fountain a bit quicker, which is always good. Bestchuck here doing his best to farm. A little bit ahead of Hammy in lane, which is always good. You always want to be putting pressure on wherever you can, and having a CS advantage over your opponent is always a good way to do that. One thing TSM do have here is the ability to just portal through. You can try and portal through some of the attempted CC and just get straight onto Hammy, so you can use that portal to get out of the fearsome shade. You can try and use that portal to circumnavigate a Catherine's silence if you're really quick. Now you can just jump into that backline and get the Bright Bulwark down and just sort of say, okay, let's kill Baron, and then everything else after that is not worth thinking about, because obviously a Baptiste and Catherine aren't going to exactly sort of 2 versus 3 if you get to that situation. TSM are looking for the flank here. Good flank.
Good playing by them. They are noticed now. I was going to say unnoticed, but definitely are now. Evo is going to find this stun once more into Best Chuck. Dane's going to come out as well. He's still sticking inside it. Good eyes by him to actually spot that out. He's dealing so much damage though, but here comes Von C with 1 kill onto Stormy Cross. Best Chuck and A fairly low. They can't really follow this without anything meaningful damage right now. TSM managed to get Hammy low as well, but that 1 kill is more than enough, really, considering that Rogue did start that engagement.
Yeah, one of the major issues there was just Evil didn't have Fountain. It's as simple as that. TSM, they got caught out. It was excellent positioning from the Rogue guys to anticipate that kind of move and then punish TSM for it, as Evil's going to take a bit of punishment, but we'll be able to back off. Just not having that Fountain kind of crucified Rogue's attempts to even function in that team fight, and TSM come away with the kill. But this is not a dominant start for TSM. It's been a shaky start. Shaky start that has allowed some space to the Rogue lineup, and Hammy's working towards his first item here. That'll be the first tick in the box. 2,200 gold in the bank, so Sorrow Blade on the cards.
Absolutely, and that's going to be a big spike for him. Got to imagine. Now TSM, they are just forcing in this wave. Like you said, they want to do exactly what Sweet J suggested on that desk. Take 3 turrets before Baron gets 3 items. He is going to pick up his first item. Is the first turret down? Let me check. No, it's not. So TSM playing a little bit more on the back foot here. Von C is going to get caught out, but Ding's level 7 actually. That ambient XP, so we'll have that Rose offensive and a little bit more damage, a little bit more bang for his buck. Stormy Cross does secure the camp though, so it's going to be at least something for him. But Rogue still scaling up, like you said. The little fights that they get into, as long as they don't trade too much, Rogue are going to get very strong very quickly.
Absolutely, as long as they just don't commit to anything too hard. Rogue will be... What I'd really like to see Rogue do is force TSM to ask the questions, right? Rogue don't need to commit to anything really hard in the early game. Their entire composition scales really well. So what you want to do as the Rogue guys here is say, don't take any unnecessary risks. Get TSM to make the questions, and then if you have the answers for them, great. If you don't, then do your best to get out of there before the firing squad hits. It's what I really want to see, Rogue. Don't take those risks. Let TSM do the work, and then you just answer it.
That's a deadly on point. Oh, nice block there. Using the Rose offensive to get out of that Ordain. They're going to turn their sights straight onto Hammy. Hammy is just going to fall instantly. Von C picks up the kill. Fountain from Flash X tries to keep him alive, but Von C will end up falling in the end. Bad Mojos to slow everybody up. Stormy Cross on the retreat. Best Chuck and Age is still doing a fair bit of damage, although taking a little bit from that Treant as well. Wants his revenge. Stormy Cross laying down that Ordain. It is going to go on to Best Chuck. However, he's going to block it, and he's just going to take this fight straight to Stormy. Although Flash X maybe overstaying a little bit there. Can he get out? Boots away, using that sigil speed as well. TSM, they do end up trading 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, super close right now between these two teams. Again, I think a little bit of an overcommittal, but I think they thought they had caught Von C out, but obviously just able to Rose offensive through the Ordain, doesn't get caught out by it. So TSM able to basically regroup and then put pressure onto Hammy. Hammy had used those jump jets offensively. If he uses those jump jets offensively, it just screams kill me from TSM, and they were able to do that. But the damage return from Stormy Cross very high right now. And there's not much shielding for Von C, which is why he got blown up.
Maybe he needs to prioritize some of that now, because think about this. Stormy Cross with that. A lot of crystal power on him right now. Does have the Shatter Glass. Here comes the Ion Cannon just to actually dissuade the rest of TSM, but undeterred, they still put a little bit of poke damage down. Evo finds the stun to Flash X, takes a double rocket from Hammy, but is going to be able to heal up. Those points from Von C hurting an absolute treat at the moment. Ordain does land to Von C, however. Does use that road defensive to get away. There comes the Fountain as well from Flash X to heal them all up, but Stormy Cross going fairly low. The massive silence from Best Chuck does once again make sure Rogue back off nice and tightly. Fountains pop from either side. Evo still wants something here. They do find Von C, but Ordained once again is just going to get dashed out of. Von C has done an absolutely fantastic job of just that. And Hammy getting aggressed on once more. It's just going to go down to Best Chuck. I thought that wasn't going to kill him, but turns out didn't have enough energy for the actual jump jet. So again, TSM, they find this kill. Now, can they find this turret?
Again, it's the name of the game. Getting turrets buys them map pressure. Map pressure buys them the ability to put press into the Rogue jungle, and pressing into the Rogue jungle gives them more space to punish Rogue before they can scale up. It's a sequence of events that TSM want to enact very quickly, They want to start rotating around these objectives. They want to get gold mines to prevent gold mines going over to Rogue so that Rogue can't scale up quickly with the gold that it adds. They want to get the turrets, so they open up the map, chase Rogue down, set up more catches, seek more team fight scenarios. But it hasn't yet quite come good for TSM. Got a couple more minutes before they really have to start to worry. Hammy has hit his 2-item spike now. He'll be working towards his final 2 items of the game. Unsure where he'll go with them. He could go towards a Poison Shiv. It's something that we saw, for instance, Mr. K-Cool build from Team Queso during their challenge battles. Or we could see him go from the more traditional Baron build, which I think would be better potentially in this scenario. Just going straight burst damage, blowing up Von C on the front line.
Well, you're touching on items, and Evil's actually picked up the Echo for his first item after the Fountain. Really wants to go for those blast tremors, those double blast tremors at least.
Absolutely. Just means that you get this kind of scenario where you can force TSM away, and again, Crucible there for Flash X on the second one if they want to use it. I think that was an Echo used and a double blast tremor potentially.
No, I don't think that actually went off. I think he just used it and then just didn't use it.
Oh, it's a really short cooldown. He must have used it on either his Storm Shield or his Q.
Oh, that was maybe a little bit of a mistap there. Vonsi does take a lot of damage though, so Rogue won't actually have to fight them. It's a short cooldown, you are correct. 50, it's only on 4 seconds now.
Yeah, the cooldown of Echo scales with the cooldown of the ability that he used to refresh. So it was a very short cooldown for that Echo, which means he must have tried to use a double stun with it.
Best Chuck taking a fair bit of damage now. Does actually get stunned up as well, but Flash X is there for the disengage. Here comes a lot of damage from Hammy. In fact, Flash X is going to be in the front line. Fearsome Shade onto 3 members. Fountain only just heals Best Chuck in time. Monty taking an extra mojo over the wall from Stormy. Now Evil does find the stun. The Ordain does land as well, but our bulwark is going to come through. And that block as well from Best Chuck did save his life in the end. TSM watching at straws here, it seems. Rogue, their damage is just incomprehensible right now. Von C almost falls, and this could be Rogue taking their first turret, or at least getting a little bit of damage down onto it.
Yeah, they've still got Fountain on Evil available. They're all really healthy right now. TSM have to make a desperation defense here. Rogue in a very good position. The silence comes down.
Oh my goodness. The blast tremor into the double rockets. There was nothing Flash X and Best Chuck could do. That'll be Rogue taking the turret as well.
And I really love the itemization of an Echo second for Evo. They don't have to worry about crucibling anything. What they want to do is command these team fights, and getting a double silence or even a double stun like you saw Evo pull off a couple of times in those previous fights. It's basically allowing them to just buy time for Baron. You can't dive a Baron when you're silenced. You can't dive a Baron when you're consistently being stunned up by Evo. And I mean, this is just the draft coming into play here. TSM haven't had the opportunity to be aggressive enough in the early game. You're nearly at 3 items for Hammy, and they've only just taken 1 turret. I mean, this might be the first case in a while that we have seen TSM get outdrafted.
That is a rarity. Put it in your calendars, everybody. Today is the day, the 30th of July, 2017. TSM may have just got outdrafted. The Scoundrel said it. Gonna point that out there. So if anybody says they haven't, we can blame you.
Just in case we're wrong, which we're not.
Just in case. Iron Cannon comes down. Fearsome Shade as well. This could actually be stolen. It does. Rogue is going to take that one. Stormy actually comes up big there. That Fearsome Shade doing a lot of work for him. Best Chuck and A has to retreat here. So does the rest of TSM. He's just going to get Ordained and just destroyed by Hammy. Blast Drum is going to silence the rest of TSM. Flash X running away, and Hammy's just online. 3 items. This guy is just packing a hell of a punch. And TSM, they can't do anything at this point. In fact, Hammy's going to jump just forward once again. Flash X gets stunned. He gets rocketed as well. Hammy finds another kill. Boy, is he impressive. He's 3 and 3 and 2. He's online. This is all going downhill for TSM.
I'm not saying I wasn't wrong, but I'm definitely not wrong. This draft is like, this is just insane. This is another way to formulate a Baron composition. Not only do you have someone that can follow up on that chain of CC with an insane amount of damage, even more so than Fox. You would even argue this is a better double this is a better Catherine Baptiste composition than with the Vox, because Baron could do the same thing, but he hits harder and he hits harder quicker. So this capitalizes on that CC even more effectively than a Vox would. This is almost like the perfect composition in Vainglory right now, because it's so difficult to answer, and it protects Baron so well that he's got to the late game so easily. Evil has gone for a null wave gauntlet now to shut down Flash X probably even harder than he can. neglecting the Atlas Pauldrons, in fact, the armor being neglected across the board, that might come to bite them in the butt if TSM find a way to get through this Fearsome Shade and the rest of the silences, because Bestchuk could get some work done here. But right now, the amount of control that Rogue are bringing to these fights. Whoa, here we go, Nelly.
Oh, passageway onto the bright bulwark. Can Hammy get out alive? No, he cannot. However, they trade 1 for 1. Last Tremor comes out, silences 2 members of TSM. Now Bestchuk and Ace trying to find the finishing blow onto this. He just can't do it. There's just no way he can find it onto Stormy as he just ends up going down. Evo just stood on top of him and wailed him to death. And now Flash X is on the retreat here. Very low. Evo wants to try and make something of this, but that Sigil is going to give him the speed that he needs to get out. Rogue, time and time again, they lose Hammy, and you know what? We've got a second carry. It's Stormy.
Yeah, and Stormy Cross just hits like a truck right now. That was one of the only ways I felt that Rogue could potentially lose a fight. They just barrel Vox to the backline. No one's got any armor. Vox could potentially rip through it with this tension bow poison Shiffield. But look how far in item spikes everybody is behind on TSM.
Double kill.
Almost one whole item behind for Von C. Multiple aggressive items behind for Bestchuk, and he's had to itemize so heavily into defense because of that burst from Stormy and the fact that Hammy's hitting hard too. He needs the armor, so the damage output from Bestchuk is just non-existent, you feel, at this point in time. TSM just, I almost feel like double Crucible is necessary here. I almost feel like Von C's going to have to build a Crucible because it's just necessary. 2 Crucibles in this composition is just necessary.
There's too much on the side of Rogue for them to deal with. He does have Shattergast from Broken Myth. Hang on a second, the Iron Cannon's going to come down. Hammy's almost completely safe.
What?
What just happened? Bad mojo onto 2. Rogue just walking all over them.
Actually going to get a double block out there, Flash X, so that was a nicely timed reflex block for maybe a poorly timed stun from Evo. But that way of fighting Jaws is what we talked about at the start of the game, like one of the ways that TSM could actually find team fight wins here. You just barreled into the Baron and kill him, which they are doing. But right now, Stormy Cross is also a 3-item Batiste. He's hitting so hard when he's got the empowered souls. Those bad mojos are hitting for 400 to 500 damage, and Flash X may be looking for a sigil steal here. He's buying time, though. He's buying time, and the rest of TSM are moving down. Notoriously, CP, well, never mind. I was going to say CP Blackfeather's good at stealing stuff, but never mind.
No, Fearsome Shade was enough. And Hammy came in as well to secure the Baron, that final rocket, and he says, I've done all the work, thank you very much. And Rogue, get the Kraken on the board. It's going to march down the lane, and what can go wrong here for Rogue? Not much, it seems. They trade 2 for 2, or 1 for 1 even, and then Stormy Cross, he just comes up big and crosses his arms and says, not today. TSM, we outdrafted you, we're going to win this game.
If anyone remembers last year, last December, when we had the North American Live Championships in autumn, just before Worlds, there was a composition that you never let anybody get. It was the Adagio Lyra composition. You never let them get the double heal. I feel like Batista Catherine is exactly the same as that now.
Seems so. Another passageway, another bright bulwark, another blast rammer as well. He's going to silence members of TSM. Von C already out of the fight. And oh, hang on a second, Bestchuk. He's managed to kill Hammy here. And now they're going to just chase down Stormzy. Still, Stormy even. He's not the rapper. He's not the grime artist. He's a player in Vainglory. Evo is going to have to run away. TSM, they do find 2 kills here, but that Kraken is still wailing on their base. They still are going to lose this turret here. Bestchuk came up really big in that fight, taking out Stormy at the end. They are going to be able to find their ace. They're going to have to retreat there and deal with that Kraken. But still, these are the fights they wanted to, but it was a mere hair width in going Rogue's way.
Well, they got the breaking point onto Bestchuk, and there is still no armor being prioritized by anybody at all on the side of Rogue. So the one thing that TSM have going in their favor, while the gold is now almost even unbelievably, the one thing that TSM have going in their favor is that they can continuously get Chuck into the backline like that. It's easy breaking point stacks. He's going to hit hard and he's going to kill quickly. So that is the one saving grace here for TSM. You can barrel into that backline, and because there is literally no armor to go up against, Bestchuk should get really easy breaking point stacks, and he'll also hit really, really hard. And the mobility allows him to chase down Hammy after he's used the jump jets anyway. That is the one Achilles heel with the way that Rogue is built right now, with the prioritization of a null wave and what looks to be even a Crucible over an Atlas Pauldrons. If I were Eval, I would sell your reflex block and go for Atlas Pauldrons now, or at least some armor. because that is the one Achilles heel of your composition, and it's the one way that you could potentially throw this game. The one way.
Can't just keep building damage, is what my teammates tell me as well. But hey, FlashX, he knows how to play Lara a lot better than I do. Now TSM, they still have a measly only 1,000 gold lead difference between Rogue's total as well. It's been very close. Here comes the Blast Tremor. It's going to silence 3 members. Wartread's in as well. Hammy.
Oh, he's gone the wrong way. He's gone the wrong way.
There we go. Hammy just comes in, but Hammy's still doing the damage. Jason Jade's going to lock up 2 members. Von C completely out of the fight. Now Best Junk is all on him. Uncanny is going to land. Hammy does get those double rockets again off onto Flash X. Those on points doing a lot of damage. Von C very, very close to going down. Hammy comes through. Can he come up big? Double rocket to finish him off. And that's 1 member down from TSM now. Will they be able to recover from this? There's a lot of healing. There comes the passageway. Hang on a minute. Where have they gone? I didn't even know. Hammy's actually found himself onto the tree, but still manages to find the kill onto Best Chuck and A. Flash X still running away, and this might just be the end of the game. Rogue, they're going to be able to find the ace. Ordained stun straight into the bad mojo. They find the ace, and I think they've done it, Xcandrel.
I think they've done it. I think they have cracked the TSM code. Rogue with an insanely good draft, and TSM played the fight so awkwardly at the end there. The one way that they've been winning is by catching Rogue off guard and barreling in with the Lyra portal to get straight onto Hammy and delete him from the fight. They didn't play it that way. They tried to play an elongated fight, and it didn't work. That plays right into what Rogue want to achieve. TSM split. They didn't focus on the target. They didn't barrel in to surprise Hammy on this Baron. And that was the one way I think they could have come back, and they didn't manage to make it happen in their last fight. But we've got to give credit to Rogue. Excellent drafting, excellent execution. Hammy on this Baron was so easily scaling up so nicely.
Welcome to the VG8 and TSM. Welcome your new contenders. That was a fantastically played game by Rogue. Baron just popped off, and that was the end of that. However, we'll jump over to the analyst desk, and we'll see what TSM can do next game.
TSM are going to have to do something magical next game because Rogue have just gone 1-0 up in this series. I barely believe my eyes right now. TSM, they're mortal after all, and it might just be this composition that is the crux of that right now, because if TSM can't beat it, I'm not sure how you do beat it at this stage. Rogue made TSM look like they didn't know what to do in that game.
Yeah, it was just so well executed. I mentioned that, I felt Rogue had a superior composition to TSM. It's not often that we say that. It was just going to be a matter of execution, and Rogue was able to perform exactly the way that they needed to with this composition. The double, the fear into the silence, the double AoE was just so strong, and once Baron got himself built up, it was just all over.
Yeah, if you look at the way how EA plays against Baron, and Druid's Baron has lost a lot of times, is they normally get 3 turrets before Baron even gets 3 tier 3 items, and TSM had to do that. That was their win condition for this comp, and they could not manage to do it because of the way Rogue played, with how Baptiste protected the Baron and also Kath. TSM did have a few engagements, but this was a beautiful silence by Evo from the bush. You cannot block a Kath silence from a bush like that because you don't see it coming. So awesome job by Evo making plays. He just played his Kath just phenomenally well in this game today.
And that's something we've seen across the board today as well. We've had some really high-level Kath play across the Vainglory8 in both regions, but I want to talk about 2 fights in particular where it felt like TSM were doing the right thing. They were doing what they needed to win these fights, and it still wasn't enough to be able to come back into the game against Rogue. We'll bring up a couple of replays where we can dissect this just a little bit deeper, but we see TSM get the dive correctly.
Yeah, they did this a couple of times down the stretch where they go in with those portals, they get right onto Hammy and just take him out before he even has a chance to react, just remove him from the fight, and that's how you have to play with this composition. But unfortunately, the first couple of times they went for this, they were just too far behind that they couldn't actually finish off the kill onto Baptiste, and Stormycross played this so well.
Yeah, when he was empowered, he landed some critical mojos, and the team was often on top of each other. TSM needed to spread out against a Baron and a Baptiste. You don't want to be on top of each other. You're just giving them so much value from the AoE damage from the bad mojo, and his rockets and his mortars do AoE damage. So against a Baptiste and Black Feather composition, you gotta spread out when you're diving.
And Team Solomon made the same type of play a little bit after that. It was the one team fight that they were able to win down the stretch, so they finally started to kind of catch up to where they needed to be to win fights. But they weren't able to then execute that multiple times afterwards. They got that engagement they needed twice, or 3 times really in this game, but that was it.
Yeah, and this is just kind of the story of Rogue finishing the job right here. Hammy just dishing out the damage. Once you get towards the late game, the damage coming out from a Baron is just so difficult to deal with. And you can see 1 to 12 coming out from Evil on the Catherine that game. He did a spectacular job, as you were saying before. And one thing I really want to point out is the fact that this is Rogue playing with a sub. This was not upon the original that we were expecting.
New sub too. It's not even like this is the sub that they were using previously.
Yeah.
This is a brand new player to this Rogue roster and absolutely stepping up in a huge way.
Yeah, phenomenal week 1 so far, but they are not out of the woods just yet. We need to get on into game 2. Obviously, the draft has to change for TSM here. You cannot allow this composition to come through 2 times in a row, Sweet J.
Yeah, and you got to make sure that Baptiste or Kath is either taken or banned, and it's not open for a team to then double pick it, especially on A side. So very risky. They are definitely thinking about the Cruel, since Rogue tends to play Cruel. And Rogue had a good draft by banning Idris first, and then just and then TSM didn't ban Baron. They just gave him the Baron on A side, confident they could play into it. And it worked out in Rogue's favor.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you know, you expect TSM to make confident plays like that in the draft, but you also kind of expect it to work usually. Didn't in this scenario. Rogue managed to take control. Now they're on the B side. Grace is going to be the first ban.
And I would assume Rogue has to ban the Baron away here.
Yeah, they have to.
You cannot let Best Chuck get his hands on that hero, even if you can get one of those big counters to it on your first pick. It's still just too strong of a hero to let through.
Vox is picked up, Lara open, Kath open, Baptiste open, all open. So I think Rogue here will probably first pick the Kath, honestly, and then either ban away Lara or let them have Lara and ban Koshka or something else. So I think Rogue might want to first pick the Kath because Evil's so good. And actually, they're going to go with the Lara. So it did not. They're going to go the opposite of what I recommended. So they're going to go ahead and take that Lara. But Poison Shift is so good into Lara, though. Like Vox, Poison Shift heal is good to counter the Lara heals.
Yeah, I think basically just saying, if we can't double pick this composition, we don't want to see this composition at all on the map. So wanting to deny that one. However, I do just want to bring to light the fact that TSM have their Vox right. There's the Koshka Krull composition that you can double pick here if Rogue goes something that doesn't go well into that. Like that, it's a similar style of composition where the CC just locks them until they're dead.
It's still a tough pick though, because there is still that final slot that can be a hard counter to a Krull. That's why we haven't seen Krull being picked very much on A side, if at all. And so I don't think it'll come through for this draft. With the Kestrel coming through from the side of Rogue especially, that's another just big deterrent for a Krull. And if you go Krull here, Rogue can just answer with a Petal and have Kestrel, Petal, and Rogue, and that just completely nullifies a Krull pick. So I highly doubt Krull would be a selection. They can go for the Catherine, or sorry, not the Catherine, the Arden,
Koshka,
or
Arden.
a Koshka. We could even see a Fortress perhaps come through for TSM if they want to go very aggressive early on.
Fortress Koshka would actually be pretty good into this competition because Fortress is good into Kestrel. As we've seen, Fortress and Koshka
Lyra
counter Kestrel really hard, and Fortress definitely counters Lyra with the Mortal Wounds. And on top of that, you also have a Poison Shield on top of the Vox. So TSM has a lot of options, but I'm pretty sure Koshka is in that piece, and potentially Krull.
Okay.
That's
Krull.
risky.
And then
That is
Koshka?
very risky.
Koshka here? Because if they pick, Lance, wow. So no Koshka, and now Rogue can pick Petal, or they can pick Sky. If they pick Petal, TSM is probably going to run a CP Vox.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, picking the Krull regardless of the enemy Kestrel, I feel like that's kind of classic TSM. You know what? We can deal with it anyway. Like, we're confident in our ability. But that's exactly what they did last game, and Rogue are currently 1-0 up in the series. Like, if TSM aren't careful there, we could be looking at a 2-0. I can't believe I'm actually saying those words. We'll see how Rogue are going to finish this composition first, though. There's definitely a lot still to be decided.
Can Stormy cross-play Sky, though? Like, I mean, Sky
Or
looks
Petal.
really
Like,
good.
either one of those, Sky or Petal, would both be so strong.
He's going to go with his Blackfair. So Stormy Cross is known for a CP Blackfair, and that's why they picked it here. It's a comfort pick.
All right, well, our compositions are locked in. How are we feeling about this, guys? Because these are, I mean, this TSM composition, quite different to what we're used to seeing. Best Chuck is going to be quite happy about the fact that the Baron was banned away. He doesn't have to play him anymore. But, I mean, how are we feeling about the Krull Lance Vox composition here? Like, do Rogue have what it takes in their comp to deal with this from TSM, or like, is this something that TSM are going to be able to just kind of snowball like we're used to seeing?
With the Black Feather being the final pick, I'm not quite as confident. They do have a lot of poke that they can try and dish out, but TSM is going to be looking to engage. They're going to be looking to go all in. They're not going to be sitting around and waiting for that poke to connect before trying to find a fight. They're just going to be going directly onto one of those two targets. It doesn't matter to them which one, but they're going to be just looking to dive in heavily and aggressively.
Yeah, how are you feeling about this one, Sweet J?
Yeah, when
is the aggression going to work?
Flash on Lance, Chuck on Vox, and Cruel, yeah, it's gonna work. They're gonna win this game for sure.
All right, we're feeling like it's a 1-1 scoreline at the end of this one. We'll see if that is going to happen. We want to know who you're voting for as well. Can Rogue upset this one? Let us know on the hashtag Vainglory8, but it's time to jump on into this one. Rogue with the potential of a 2-0 against TSM. Let's find out if they can do it as we head onto the Halcyon Fold.
Thank you very much, guys, once again. Rogue coming up strong, coming up big in that game number 1, but TSM, are they going to let their guard down? Judging by their composition, Scoundrel, I don't think so. Cruel, Lance, Vox, what more can you want?
Yeah, this is a super aggressive move from TSM. We've seen Von C on this Cruel before. It's likely going to be double weapon power, as we have seen with Vox and Cruel combinations so often. And Flash now looking to set the plays up on this Lance. So just go in, search for an Impale, capitalize on the Impale, get the kill, rinse, repeat here for TSM. It worked so nicely, as it has done in the past for them. Let's see how it fares this time round.
Absolutely. Flash actually sealing away these fronts, or at least trying to. Oh, Evo. Oh, he steals them as well. Nice. Takes that away from Flash X. He says, thank you very much. And he actually wanders back to lane here. Hammy on this Kestrel, though, coming up against Best Chuck. Isn't going to have too much of an issue, you can imagine, just because Evol is going to be there for the heals and the bright bulwarks where necessary. So let's quickly touch on Stormy. He's now on this Black Feather, which didn't work for TSM last game. But coming up against this Cruel, how does this matchup really entail?
It's tough for the Black Feather early on, for sure. I mean, Cruel is one of the best 1v1 duelists in the game, as he just runs straight past, looking to build up the heal. Well, the movement speed.
Oh, yeah, movement speed is, that smite as well has been taken, obviously, at the level 1. Nice Impale actually coming through Flash X Evo. Oh, full smite stacks. Thank you very much. Fonzie is going to take that kill away, which secures first blood, and already TSM off to a good start.
Yeah, just basically ignoring a CP Blackfeather early on. If that was weapon power Blackfeather, it might have been more difficult to do that, but so easy just to straight up ignore a CP Blackfeather. If you can dodge out the on-point damage, very easy to just sort of dip, duck, and dodge and dive and jump onto Evo, land that smite, get the kill, because he was only level 1, so it was a pretty easy target for Von C there. And again, Cruel, one of the best sustained duelists in the game, especially early on. So it is a matchup that's difficult for the CP Blackfeather to get an upper hand in.
If he can now, he hasn't really got anything much on Von C at the moment, with Von C picking up that early first blood. Now, what can Von C do with this advantage? You talked about Lance and Flash X just being able to pin one person down, then TSM kind of run at them and then delete them and so on and so forth. Evo's going to make their life a little bit harder with that Bright Bulwark. In fact, Stormy is going to make his way towards the lane. Does just exit it, however, as Flash X does manage to find the stun.
Well, you're going to see Von C go very quickly towards his tension bow item spike. Once he hits that, TSM will be looking for every opportunity to just dive onto somebody, lock them up. Doesn't matter whether it's the CP Blackfeather, doesn't matter whether it's the Lila, doesn't matter whether it's the Kestrel. It is just kill someone very quickly, and once you've killed them, then rinse, repeat onto somebody else.
Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Unless Flash X gets targeted first, but you can't imagine he will be. I mean, Hammy's going to take a fair while to actually scale up here. You can imagine Best Chuck and A is going to be in the same sort of field.
Well, yeah, it used to be that way with Vox, but his build is so cheap now. Like his Poison Shiv, Tension Bow, Breaking Point, that's a really cheap weapon power build. You actually can scale it pretty quickly when you're playing Vox's weapon power these days.
Von C has found a Stormy Cross. Evo's going to be here as well. He's building up those stacks quite nicely, but the heal from Evo is going to lead him to safety, as he does get the speed boost as well. That's going to be the tail of these fights, I can imagine. Just Stormy Cross sustaining against Von C, and then Von C doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, well, Stormy Cross got the healing camp, which was really important there. I think Von C was obviously looking for that himself. Couldn't then duel the healing camp on Stormy Cross, and Stormy Cross is actually respecting the Cruel's early game and has picked up a light armor here, knowing that any bit of defensive itemization he can get will help him in his 1v1 duels. Von C has picked up a blazing salvo, so prioritizing that attack speed to build the weakness stacks to slow down the damage output of the likes of Stormy Cross, and if he can even get onto Hammy. Interesting. I would have thought that he would have rushed that tension bow, but this kind of speaks to the more longer form fights here, knowing that how important getting those weakness stacks down are to Cruel's ability to just duel. Does look like he is going to go for the tension bow, just slightly delayed from where it probably would usually be.
We always talk about TSM there. Innovation when it comes to compositions and item builds. I'll talk about that in a minute though, because Von C is just going to get jumped on here. However, Flash X is going to find the route onto Stormy, but Von C going extremely low. The Fountain does come out in time, just maybe in time to save his life. Smite as well is going to heal him up nice and proper. Now Stormy Cross has to exit as Best Chuck has entered the fight too. Von C ends up falling. Nice stun on to Hammy. But TSM, they are still on the run here. And that is a lot of stacks from Stormy Cross.
Oh.
Nice impale again. The Fountain was bought mid-fight from Epol as well to heal everybody up. And Flash X is just going to get chased down. And Stormy Cross is going to find a double kill as well as a delayed ace almost coming through there. Von C did end up spawning, but Rogue taking 3 kills there from TSM.
Oh, twice Von C has gone into the enemy jungle. Twice he has been out-dueled and out-smited on that forward healing Treant, giving Stormy the ability to then carry on in the fight. A great rotation from Hammy, quick, decisive, comes down, puts pressure onto Von C, goes down quickly. And then obviously Flash X had to waste his Fountain to keep Von C alive in that situation. Evol's mid-fight Fountain buy, so influential in that team fight win for them. And wow, Rogue still behind in gold, but seemingly on the upper hand in these skirmishes.
Just honestly, I can't believe it. TSM right now, they are a little bit on the back foot, although Von C is level 6, so does have his ultimate available. That from Hell's Heart will be very influential. We all know what happens when the coral hits level 6. Just look at those ults off cooldown, you can imagine. And the chain at CC as well is going to lock Rogue up for what seems to be days for them. But now they're just hiding underneath their turret.
Absolutely, but they do have that range advantage with the CP Blackfire and the Glimmer Shot, so they can continuously put pressure onto TSM as long as they keep vision of them. Just continually look to pressure them from range. Don't give yourself an easy target for. Don't give themselves an easy target for an engage for TSM.
Yeah, Rogue playing this very smart. You can see Evo just refusing to leave his turret side. I mean, you've got to imagine Von C is going to be in that top brush for a majority of the time he is actually in the lane. Oh, Impale does land onto the healing camp, but it will actually get taken by Stormy Cross. One shot, one kill is going to find Flash X as well. Von C really nowhere to be found, so this is actually a 2v2. In fact, a 2v3 as Hammy comes through. TSM overstepping. Best Chuck's going to fall, and Flash X might just follow him as well back to the base. Nice Scythian wall, but Stormy Cross is going to chase him down. That's going to be a kill for him, and Von C smites the healing camp away, but will he be able to do anything more? 3 members of Rogue, and actually Stormy Cross gets stunned up here, but that's a double kill. No worry, says Rogue. We'll just take the fight to you. That's another almost ace there as they completely take TSM off the face of the fold.
Who is this god, Stormy Cross? Who is this? This guy's been a monster as Best Chuck face checks and Rogue almost punish him for it, but Stormy Cross has been an absolute monster. He's out-jungled, out-smited, out-dueled Von C. Who is this guy? Is this upon the original Secret Apprentice?
Secret Smurf. He's smurfing. That's what it feels like right now. Hammy caught up. Von C going in. Hammy taking a lot of damage. Will he survive? I don't know. Von C comes through. Smite steals it away. Perfect. TSM, they find a kill, but it's only one. Question is what they can get off it. Everybody always says, especially when it comes to MOBAs at least, it's always more important to get objectives over kills. Now TSM, what can they get off this? It actually looks like they're going for the gold miner, so always looking for those small, minute advantages off those kills.
The one thing that you can criticize Rogue for is they maybe didn't prioritize the right objectives off the back of their team fight wins. They could have gone for the gold miner. Oh, but that was an almost steal. Oh, and dead.
Oh, yeah, you're dead. Stormy Cross. Oh, hang on a second. Rogue
hang on a second.
Yes, hang on a second. Secret Smurfing scoundrel. Yantis to get away. Rose offensive mixed with a passageway. That's a happy Stormy Cross.
Stormy Cross the god. Who is this guy?
Fancy feet.
He's like a masked superhero of Vainglory coming into the North American VG8 to bring new life to some of the bottom teams. He's the hero that we may not deserve, but the hero that we need. I said it wrong, but I don't care.
You almost had it. But still, Stormycross, I mean, this is the thing as well. We got to keep this in mind, these scoundrel. Rogue, right now, have just come into the DG. So technically, we don't know if they're the top team yet. We know TSM are, so they are vying right now for that top position.
Dude. You know, this could be the new top team at the Vainglory8. I mean, they've been playing incredibly well here. One thing we could criticize them for, Jaws, is that they didn't quite maybe prioritize the right objectives off the back of some of their team fight wins. They went for Crystal Miner. They maybe could have got Gold Miner and taken that big payout. They maybe could have pushed the turret a little bit more rapidly. They did get an objective, but maybe it wasn't the right objective to help their snowball here, because that gifted TSM the Gold Mine off the back of their small engagers, and TSM got a massive payout from it, which has kept the gold very level.
On C, might be in a little bit of trouble, but in fact, Rogue is actually going to find the fight. Best Chuck is going to be the first target here, but Vonsi on the back line already is just going to be, oh my, find the kill on Hammy. Finally finds the smite away. Stormycross fairly low, Rogue's offensive away, and now he just leaves Evol completely alone versus two members of TSM. He's going to get taken out. Vonsi comes up with a double kill, which is pretty big. A 2-for-1 trade at the moment. TSM, they are going to again secure that Crystal Sentry, always looking for these minute objectives. So in fact, TSM, they haven't lost out just yet, and even the gold is slightly in their favor.
Yeah, that's really, really aggressive. I really love what Vonsi did there. He found the perfect flank for TSM in that team fight, got straight onto Hammy. You pressure Hammy on the weapon power Kestrel, makes it very difficult for him to even sort of kite in these team fights versus the Cruel, which is why he might have gone Tornado Trigger as a priority here, by the way, Jaws, as Stormycross continues his chase to Vonsi. Has to be careful.
1-1 kill and 2 on points did hit him. That's a very hard-hitting Stormycross right now with that Shatter Glass and a little bit of Pierce as well.
So, Hammy went for the Tornado Trigger, which is the second item, an interesting choice here for Rogue. It has allowed, obviously, well, massive damage. It does mean that he's going to be able to kite and do damage more easily than if he'd gone the Tension Bow straight away, because you don't want to get locked in place using Glimmer Shot versus a Cruel, do you? Because, obviously, that's bad. That makes it easier for Cruel to kill you. So this is going to allow him to kite with his basic attacks. Whoa, my goodness!
Rogue! Hang on a second. Whoa, that comes from Hell's Heart. It's actually going to miss completely. Vonsi, that's a big cooldown him for now. Turret does fall. Rogue maybe looking for a small advance here. Flash X, he's very low. Same with Best Chuck. He's actually going to have to recall here. That was very close. And Vonsi maybe they're messing that one up slightly. That Hell's Heart just went completely wide. That these Rogues are actually getting a turret and a gold miner.
I think Rogue got scared off by it, though, and unfortunately that meant that they weren't able to get a teamfight win that they maybe deserved. They do get a decent, or immense payout, rather, from the gold miner, so it's a good move from Rogue. They had basically won the teamfight. They didn't get the kills, but they did enough damage to force TSM back, which bought them the space to go straight up for that gold miner. Put them slightly in the lead now that they've taken that turret as well. Hammy is now just waiting for TSM to make their move behind the turret, and Evol has made his way over too. TSM will get flared out here. Good move by Evol. I've been impressed with his ability to keep vision up. And Stormcross, no, oh, wow, great block. Great block by Stormcross. Unintentional, but a great block. But he did get caught out. That's the problem with the CP Blackfeather. You can't get into a dueling range with Cruel, because he will just smash you.
Cut you into small pieces. And I'd say that was a calculated blocking, scoundrel. I always give people the benefit of the doubt.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that.
Calculated. Hammy is calculated. He's got exactly enough gold for that tension bow, so he ends up picking that one up. He's got a Tornado Trigger and the Sora Blade as well. So he is kind of fully online at this point. Very hard hitting, you could say. With Best Chuck, he's got Breaking Point, Poison Shiv, Tension Bow, you know, kind of classic build like you were alluding to earlier. Very cheap build as well for him to kind of get online. And now Rogue, they've got a turret advantage, so they will be able to start pushing into TSM's jungle to get vision and to clear out a couple of camps as well, just extending their gold lead. Only 1,000 at this moment, and Stormycross is starting to hurt, and Best Chuck, gotta say, he's playing on the back foot at the moment. It's been Vonsi, the been massive initiator. And speaking of initiation, straight on to Stormycross. Rose offensive to get away, however. Look at that sustain as well. It's going to come up massive. Hammy in the back line, though, decides to go and just take it to TSM, but Best Chuck's going to cut him down where he stands. Stormycross gets CC'd once, CC'd twice. Passageway, Smite is actually going to get followed up here. On point, dashes straight to the Elder Tree end. Will Vonsi be able to find anything more? Stormycross is going to be able to get out alive, so they only sacrifice Hammy there, who did use the active camo to get on the back line, but couldn't find anything more.
I think they are going to be able to put pressure onto Best Chuck here, who's trying to take the turret. He might go down for his wills.
Oh, yes, he will. Stormycross takes that kill. That one shot as well was enabling them to secure it. So they do take the turret, so I call worth in TSM's books there.
They don't take the turret. No, they tried to take the turret, but
I didn't. I thought it exploded. That was my bad.
No, it's half health. That was Best Chuck split to try and secure an objective, and Rogue, instead of backing off after losing the fight in the jungle versus FlashX and Von C, they went straight to lane and punished Chuck for that move. I mean, Chuck has been on the back end of a huge amount of punishment this game, but like we said, has already finished up his 3-item build. Will now probably work towards some armor. Bonsi has been really putting TSM, as well as Flash, who's made some good impales, but Bonsi's been really doing some work to put TSM in the game right now. Really dueling well against Stormycross. They've been catching Stormycross out on the front line, which has been forcing him to use that Rose offensive defensively, putting Rogue on the back foot almost immediately. Just like this.
Oh, from Hell's Heart, it's going to get blocked. One shot, one kill, does a little bit of damage to Von C. And now, what is Rogue's game plan? They're actually just going to jump straight onto Best Chuck, but he refuses to go down.
The stun as well.
Von C's going to come up really big, and Hammy is going to get traded here. Passageway to follow Flash X. The stun was big, but was it enough? TSM, they're just going to get run down and cut down. Stormy comes up big again. Who is this guy? 8-0 on this Black Feather. Ace for Rogue. And they're going to shut down this turret as well, you can imagine.
The crucible from Evo, that fight, was just so good. It stopped that cruel ultimate, which meant that Stormycross was then able to back out, reset, get the big on points. They punished Best Chuck again for committing with TSM. And Von C, if he doesn't land the ultimate, doesn't get someone locked in place to land those consistent stacks on, you're going to have a bad time. Evo also now finished up the Atlas Pauldrons. The #1 counter to Cruel is Atlas Pauldrons. It looks like Stormycross has got his armor on board as well, with the metal jacket completing. With a double weapon power composition, even with the double tension bone, armor will make it harder for TSM to achieve what they want to in these fights. Rogue are playing a blinder.
It's actually kind of scary, in all honesty. I mean, coming up against TSM in this capacity is huge. They can use that sigil for a little movement speed boost here. All ultimates available across the board. Important ones anyway. One shot, one kill. That's a lot of damage onto Von C. 660 to be precise with the Excandrel. Now Von C is going to have to back here, which will lead a lot of time now for Rogue to maybe look for a little play. Flash X is very good with his vision. Is going to be able to spot out the rest of Rogue here. Kraken is on the table for both these teams.
Oh, it's a breaking point. Last item for Hammy instead of the Tyrant's Monocle, meaning that this is a super kite-heavy build from him. Lots of attack speed in there. Von C's going to get caught out.
Von C's going to get caught out, but is it Rogue that's caught out? In fact, Von C going really low. They're just going to chase up Hammy and just trying to find the kill, but Von C just can cut down where he stands. 2 for 2, 2 for 1, in fact. Flash X, last member alive again. That was just a cluster of bodies at that point in Scoundrel. I didn't even know what was going on. And TSM, they fall by the wayside once again. And Stormy, he's on 10 kills on this Black Feather. He's just going to Rose offensive across the wall. And this Ace, he came up on the screen briefly, but he is a nightmare Scoundrel. They're going to take the Kraken as well. TSM, they're toppling.
They are toppling. This double weapon power isn't working out for them. They didn't get the early lead that they needed with the Cruel. And Stormycross is just, well, welcome to the jungle, ladies and gentlemen. This man is probably here to stay. He has been an incredible feat of prowess for the Rogue lineup. Hammy kited like a monster. He's got a kite-heavy build, much better against the Cruel compared to your standard Glimmer Shot build, because you're not locked in place relying on the Glimmer Shot for your damage. He can kite backwards, use his basic attacks, he builds up those breaking point stacks and gets more powerful as the fight goes on. And Stormycross is able to clean up because they were so focused on dealing with Hammy. They aren't focused on those big hitting on points. The Stormycross is managing to land across a grouped up TSM quite consistently here. Rogue are on their way to 2-0ing TSM. When was the last time you ever heard that? When was the last time you heard anybody say, and TSM got 2-0'd?
Cannot remember a time, I'm going to be honest with you. But this might be it. Nice doubling power from Flash X. You said welcome to the jungle. Rogue have got fun and games, and their game right now is just taking and demolishing the base of TSM. And Kraken is marching there. Nice double impale from Flash X. That's a Githian wall as well. From Hell's Heart is going to get blocked. War Treads as well. Flash X might be the first casualty of war, but they're just trying to kill Hammy, but they just can't do it. 3 kills. There we go. Impressive. Rogue take the ace. They take the base, and they take the series from TSM 2-0.
Hammy with a bit of BM at the end there, but I think a little bit of BM can potentially be deserved. You just 2-0'd the undisputed North American champions as a new VG8 team. This was just beautiful.
Words cannot describe how incredible this must feel for Rogue. 2-0ing TSM, toppling the Titans. I need to take a breather, I think. Rogue, incredible play. And Stormy Cross, I think he's here to stay. Guys over on the desk, you take it away.
I feel like right now, Stormy Cross is in that part in the first Spider-Man where everyone just wants him to take off his mask and find out who he really is, because that was an insane performance. 2-0ing TSM, the North American Kings. We've been talking about how they're on this undisputed win streak. Now they're out in the quarterfinals. Rogue have just made their mark in their first series in the Vainglory8 this season.
Absolutely incredible play from Rogue. I mean, this is a sub that we didn't know who he was. We have no idea, like, if he was going to have the synergy that you need to compete in Vainglory8, let alone against Team Solo Mid. But Rogue was able to come through in a big way. And I mean, hey, by the transitive property, they are now the best team in North America.
Yeah, I mean, still a little bit of work on proving that one just yet, but definitely phenomenal performance. And a huge amount of this is down to their skirmishing in the early game. They took it to TSM, which not many teams can say.
Yeah, TSM had a lot of really aggressive rotations. I mean, they got caught out in terms of, like, in that first replay is 2v3 there, and this second one he hits by the Kestrel, and then Blackfeather just on the crew and I mean on Vox and just kills him. And like Stormy just excelled. I mean, he got 11-0 in this entire game, and the way that he plays Blackfeather, he knows when to go in, when to go out. Perfect use of his ultimate, then his execution with his on point. He played it really well, and I felt like TSM just so aggressive early, and I feel like they needed to wait for a 3-man rotation to engage and make sure that they lock down the Kestrel and kill her.
And multiple times we saw in this particular replay right now, and also much later in the game as well, one member of TSM was pretty frequently getting caught. It was different members throughout the game, but it was always one member just kind of getting blown up very early on, forcing a lot of the cooldowns to have to be burned to keep them alive before the fight even really begins. And that was, again, just great execution by Rogue, recognizing and spotting out there's one person on their own and immediately making the decision to go in. That's something that, like, you can't even really shot call that. That's just something that all three players need to be on the same page and just instinctually make the decision to go in.
Yeah, it's all about knowing exactly how you're going to act before the action even comes through. And I mean, TSM started to come back into that game. There was a lot of fights towards the middle of the game that were very back and forth, like players dying on either side, and TSM almost managing to make it. But then there was one specific fight where Stormy just lost his mind, and definitely kind of the pinnacle of this game. When, if you're a Rogue fan, this fight exactly here, 14.5 minutes. Talk me through what happened here, guys.
Yeah, this was such a creep fight. He basically dodges the Cruel Sun, doesn't hit anybody, and they're focused on the Vox here, like the Kestrel and the Blackfire. Look at that, they're just so laserly focused, and this was reflected in the entire game. I mean, Stormy and Hammy knew who to focus, so that tells me their communication is on point, and because of that focus, they're able to lock down and kill either Cruel or Vox first, and that wins them the fights and gets them the key aces that then lets them push the objectives.
Yeah, gets Stormy himself a triple kill there as well. And we saw another fight following that one that looked almost exactly the same, where they finish off both carries and FlashX is just like trying to hobble away from the situation but gets chased down in the end. And I mean, I'm almost speechless on this performance from Rogue.
Yeah, and I feel like TSM kind of helped Rogue too. They weren't playing to their win conditions. Like if Lance doesn't land a root or Crow doesn't get and land his stun and they block it, just back off. I mean, the Crow stun is on a 50-second or faster cooldown late game, and I felt like they needed to engage with their CC with a Lance, Root, and Cruel combo. We didn't see a lot of that in this game for whatever reason.
There's also a lot of instances where TSM came very close to finding a kill, but just didn't quite finish it off, or didn't use their execution just a little bit too early. In a few of these replays, we've seen where, like, the Kestrel gets down to a sliver of health and then gets 2 or 3 glimmer shots off before actually falling in the fights where Hammy did end up going down. And that's just an issue of either TSM not committing to finishing off the kill or expecting one of the other members to finish it off and not actually having it.
It was just so weird. When Flash landed a double root, there was no follow-up. It was like he's just rooting and then the team just